I was their most brilliant healer, the doctor everyone loved and trusted. But the 3 people closest to me destroyed my life with a single lie. My own teacher told the world I was a monster who poisoned people. My beautiful bride swore in court. She saw me doing evil magic rituals. And the powerful lord I tried to save said I made him sick on purpose. They tortured me until my surgeon hands became useless claws. They scarred my face until no one could see who I really was. Then they threw me out to die alone. But here's what they didn't know. I survived. And now I'm back as someone different. Someone who sees everything, knows everything. They'll watch their perfect lives crumble piece by piece. And when everything falls apart, they'll finally understand. You can't destroy a genius and expect to live happily ever after. I was the golden boy of medicine. Every surgeon in the province envied my steady hands. Every patient praised my gentle touch. Lord Z's household welcomed me like family. The young miracle worker, they called me. I should have known miracles don't last. The first sign came during one of Elder Physician Go's late-night visits. I found him in my study, papers scattered everywhere, his wrinkled hands trembling over my private notes. "Just admiring your work," he said. His smile didn't reach his eyes. I didn't know it then, but he was stealing something far more precious than knowledge. Later that night, I reviewed my documents. My surgical procedures, my poison studies, every page had been copied. Looking back, I should have seen the greed in his expression, the way he always asked about my most dangerous techniques, how he pushed me to document everything. Lord Z summoned me daily. The governor's illness puzzled every healer. Progressive paralysis, no pattern, no cure. But I noticed something odd. His symptoms changed with the seasons. Left hand weak on market days. Right hand trembled during military reviews. A brilliant performer. His disease danced to rules I couldn't grasp. Then came Leon. Beautiful Leon, my promised bride. Her family owned the largest spice shops in the capital, wealth beyond my humble reach. When she accepted my proposal, I felt chosen by fortune itself. She memorized medical terms faster than my students, asked questions that challenged even my understanding. "How do poisons affect the body?" she'd ask. "Could someone fake paralysis?" Innocent curiosity, or so I thought. I documented everything obsessively, recorded symptoms, tracked timelines, noted inconsistencies. Knowledge is power. In my field, information saves lives. I never imagined it could be weaponized against me. Elder Guo visited again, brought expensive wine. "For your brilliance," he said. We discussed Lord Sai's condition. I shared my theories about environmental factors, mentioned rare herbs that could mimic nerve damage. His eyes gleamed, questions sharpened. He pressed for specifics, dosages, sources, where these plants grew, how to process them. The merchants started dying. 3 in 1 month, all patients I'd treated weeks before, all healthy when they left my care. The deaths followed patterns. Symptoms matched notes missing from my study. Guo claimed credit for my successful treatments, failed to mention his own botched attempts. Something was shifting, something dark. I watched Leon more carefully. Her secret meetings, the coded letters, messages written with unusual pressure, stress marks on paper. Her micro-expressions changed when mentioning Lord's family. Pupils dilated discussing wealth. Her mathematical mind wasn't solving theoretical problems anymore. She calculated something else, something I didn't want to believe. Late one evening, I followed her, through narrow streets, past the gambling houses, to a private courtyard. There, she met him, young Lord Z, the governor's son. They spoke in whispers, exchanged papers. His gestures matched hers too perfectly. They'd been corresponding for months. I didn't know it then, but she'd already chosen her path. I created test documents, deliberately included medical errors, mixed impossible formulas, planted false leads, bait for thieves. Within days, they vanished from my study. Someone took everything, someone who didn't understand the subtle mistakes, someone who thought physicians' errors were deadly secrets. Lord Z's condition worsened. Dramatically, he demanded immediate intervention, private treatments, no witnesses. Something felt wrong. The paralysis intensified before state inspections, miraculously improved during ceremonial duties. A peculiar illness indeed. One that served political purposes, one that required my expertise to maintain. The Merchant Guild arrived at my door, accusations flying. Their members died using counterfeit medicines, formulas stolen from a master physician, signed with Guo's mark, his seal, his handwriting. But my techniques, my forbidden research, the perfect frame taking shape. I didn't know it then, but the noose was tightening. Leon's behavior shifted. Her questions became interrogations. Did you study dark arts? Have you performed forbidden rituals? What about those plague texts you keep hidden? Her tone grew cold, clinical. She wasn't curious anymore. She was building evidence, collecting ammunition for battles I couldn't see coming. Elder Guo praised my dedication publicly, recommended me for imperial appointments. Behind closed doors, he pressed harder. Share your greatest secrets, he urged, for the advancement of medicine. His gambling debts mounted. His creditors grew, impatient. A desperate man makes dangerous choices. I didn't know it then, but he'd already made his deal. The final pieces moved into position. Lord Z invited me for private consultation. Important matters. Urgent care. Guo insisted on accompanying me, providing guidance, ensuring proper treatment. 3 stars aligning, 3 hearts hiding terrible secrets, 3 minds calculating my destruction. I walked toward that summons like a lamb to slaughter. Looking back, I should have run. Instead, I brought my best medicines, my sharpest instruments, the very tools they'd use against me. The guards came at dawn, 5 soldiers, armed to the teeth. They found exactly what they were looking for, the poison vials Guo had planted, the blasphemous texts copied from my private studies, the plague, journals with my annotations. Every piece of evidence perfectly placed, perfectly damning. Lord Z summoned his court. The trial began immediately. No chance to prepare, no time to gather witnesses, just accusations flowing like a poisoned river. Looking back, I should have known they'd moved too fast for coincidence. This was orchestrated down to the minute. Elder Guo stepped forward. His voice carried authority. I found these in his chambers, he declared, held up my stolen notes. Methods to poison governors, instructions for biological warfare. He studied plague not to cure it, but to wield it. The lies flowed smoothly. Practiced speeches, rehearsed denunciation. The crowd gasped. Mothers covered children's eyes. Officials whispered behind fans. Every word carefully chosen to terrify, to paint me as monster. I didn't know it then, but fear was their greatest ally. They called Leon next, my beautiful betrothed. Her silk robes rustled as she approached, face pale, lips trembling, the perfect picture of tormented witness. Looking back, every gesture was calculated, every tear choreographed for maximum impact. He performed dark rituals, she sobbed. I watched him cut living flesh, study death to master life. Her words struck like daggers, each accusation more twisted than the last. She described experiments I'd never conducted, crimes I'd never committed. Her mathematical mind had created a web of lies so intricate even I marveled at its complexity. Lord Z spoke last, stronger than he'd appeared in weeks. Paralysis completely, absent, accusations sharp as steel. He poisoned me slowly, wanted my position, my wealth, my power. He studied my weaknesses, exploited my trust. The great actor delivered his lines flawlessly. I didn't know it then, but this was his masterpiece. The evidence mounted, each piece fitting perfectly. The poisons matched unusual compounds I'd theorized about. The plague texts contained details only master physicians would recognize. Even my handwriting on doctored documents looked authentic. They'd prepared months for this moment. They brought forth witnesses, the dead merchants' families, people I'd actually helped. Their testimonies twisted beyond recognition. He experimented. On us, they cried. Simple treatments became sinister deeds. Cures became curses. Truth drowned in orchestrated hysteria. The judge pronounced sentence, treason, sacrilege, crimes against the state. The punishment exacted with surgical precision. They chose their torturer well, someone who understood anatomy, who knew exactly how to disable without killing. Looking back, I realized they needed me capable of survival. Even exile served their purposes. They took my fingers first, the ring and middle ones, the ones that guided scalpels, performed delicate surgery, each cut calculated to destroy my life's work, to cripple my greatest skill. I screamed, not from pain but from helplessness. I didn't know it then, but rage was becoming my foundation. The facial scarring came next, patterns designed to render me unrecognizable, to erase wager from existence. Each mark carefully placed, each wound tended just enough to prevent death. They needed me alive but invisible, a ghost of my former self. During the torture I watched their faces, Guo's satisfaction barely concealed, C's cold calculation behind false sympathy, Leon's mathematical gaze measuring my suffering. 3 minds that had played me perfectly, 3 hearts devoid of mercy. Looking back, I memorized every detail, every micro-expression, every tell. They dragged me through the streets, made spectacle of my exile. The crowd they'd terrified now hurled stones, cursed my name. Former patients turned accusers, students became executioners. The perfect manipulation of public sentiment. I didn't know it then, but I was witnessing their greatest fear, the power of reputation weaponized. At the city gates, they gave me supplies, just enough medicine to technically survive, bread that would mold within days, water for a week at most. They'd calculated my probable death, chosen exile routes through plague-infested territories. Every detail designed to erase me from existence while maintaining plausible innocence. Leon approached one final time, tears glistening. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Her mathematical certainty wavered for one moment, one impossible moment of humanity. Then she turned away, walked toward her new future with the governor's son. Looking back, I should have seen this was her greatest calculation. The gates closed behind me. The wilderness stretched endlessly. My ruined hands throbbed. My scarred face burned. But my mind, my brilliant strategic mind remained intact. That was their mistake. I didn't know it then, but they'd created something more dangerous than any physician. They'd forged vengeance into flesh. Each step into exile carved a deeper understanding. I analyzed their methods, dissected their strategy, appreciated their terrible beauty, the poisoning, the timing, the testimonies. A symphony of destruction, perfectly conducted. Looking back, I realized I was walking not toward death, but toward transformation. The plague lands welcomed me. Other exiles, failed generals, displaced scholars, the broken remnants of imperial justice. I shared medical knowledge, healed where I could, taught others to survive. But inside my mind, calculations began. Mathematics of revenge. Psychology of manipulation. The beginning of something they could never anticipate. 3 faces haunted my dreams. 3 sets of lies echoed in wilderness winds. 3 betrayers sleeping peacefully while I struggled through each night. But now I understood their game. Now I knew their moves. I didn't know it then, but the student was about to surpass the masters. The prey was becoming predator. The physician was evolving into something far more dangerous than death itself. The plague hit the same day I crossed into exile territory. Perfect timing. People called it divine judgment. I called it biological warfare. The symptoms matched my stolen research. Exactly. Fever rising in specific patterns. Respiratory failure following predictable stages. Death occurring mathematically precisely. They'd weaponized my work already. Yet I survived through knowledge they couldn't steal. Forbidden healing techniques from nomadic texts, methods Elder Guo dismissed as primitive. Herbs growing wild that city physicians never studied. My mutilated fingers adapted, found new ways to mix medicines, to perform necessary procedures. I didn't know it then, but disability was teaching me creativity. The exiles gathered around, evening fires, generals stripped of rank, scholars banned from libraries, physicians accused of malpractice, men and women who understood betrayal, who recognized the patterns of imperial politics. Looking back, our conversation shaped something revolutionary. General Chang spoke first. Warfare has three theaters: physical battlefield, political manipulation, psychological destruction. His eyes held decades of strategic knowledge. His disgraced status stemmed from exposing corruption. Truth-telling proved dangerous in golden courts. I didn't know it then, but his wisdom would reconstruct me. Scholar Wei taught psychology. Fear controls masses, hope inspires loyalty, reputation determines power. She analyzed how regimes maintained control, how individuals could be dismantled through careful erosion of credibility. Her theories perfectly matched my enemy's tactics. Looking back, she provided the blueprint for everything that followed. I learned Weiqi from Master Han, former imperial strategist. His board became my obsession. Every stone placed influences 70 future moves. True victory creates situations where opponent defeats themselves. His teachings transformed how I viewed revenge. I didn't know it then, but chess pieces were becoming people. The mountain hermit arrived during winter storms. Old Jin, eyes sharp despite age, taught me disguise arts, how to change voices, alter posture, control micro-expressions. Identity is performance, he whispered. Master the art and become anyone. His techniques erased wager completely. Looking back, I was learning to become Shadow. Word traveled about the plague. Markets buzzed with rumors. Imperial investigators asking questions. Traditional physicians failing spectacularly. I developed cures using cross-cultural knowledge. Combined Western techniques with Eastern herbs. Methods impossible for any single trained physician to know. I didn't know it then, but uniqueness was becoming my trademark. Merchant Huang brought news from the capital. Elder Guo's treatments are failing. Simple cases becoming disasters. Patients dying from basic injuries. My techniques, copied without understanding context, were revealing their limitations. Satisfaction warmed me more than any fire. Looking back, this was moment one of their unraveling. I crafted my new identity carefully. Ying meant shadow in old dialects. Strategic consultant to exiled generals, medical advisor to struggling communities. My surgical skills adapted to limited tools. My scarred face became mark of wisdom. Battle wounds proving survival. I didn't know it then, but transformation required total commitment. The exile network expanded. Information flowed through merchant routes. I learned about Lord Z's expanding paralysis episodes, about Leon's marriage negotiations with the governor's son, about Guo's mounting gambling debts. Knowledge was currency. Intelligence was power. Looking back, I was building an empire of whispers. I tested small retributions, sent anonymous medical corrections to physicians treating Guo's patients, formulas that exposed his copied techniques' flaws, simple changes producing dramatically better results. His reputation began microscopic erosion, doubts seeded, questions growing. I didn't know it then, but reputation is surprisingly fragile. The plague research proved invaluable. I identified modifications in the original strain. Someone had enhanced transmission rates, shortened incubation periods, classic weaponization techniques, the same methods I'd theorized about, the same papers Guo had stolen. Looking back, I realized they were killing thousands to test my theories. Local commanders requested my strategic insight, border skirmishes, supply route protection, psychological warfare against rival factions. My combination of medicine and tactics proved uniquely valuable. Reputation spread quietly. The shadow who heals and conquers. I didn't know it then, but legends were being born. I perfected new surgical methods, used animal sinew instead of silk, developed pain management without expensive herbs, innovated because necessity demanded it. These techniques surpassed traditional medicine, knowledge they couldn't steal because poverty birthed it. Looking back, limitation fostered innovation. The first direct strike came methodically. Young physician in Guo's hometown. I guided him through mountain trails, taught him my newest surgical procedures, helped him achieve impossible cures. His success made older physicians look outdated. Questions arose about Guo's methods. I didn't know it then, but seeds of doubt grew faster in fertile minds. Exile transformed me physically. Scars became camouflage. Rough living built stamina. Traditional medicine couldn't. Survival skills balanced intellectual prowess. The fragile physician died. Something harder replaced him. Looking back, metamorphosis was complete when suffering became strength. Information networks solidified. Exiles loyal to truth rather than politics. Merchants grateful for medical miracles. Generals appreciating strategic insights. My influence spread through value provided, real help, genuine solutions. I didn't know it then, but authentic power trumps political theater. The plague continued its mathematical progression. I created secret distribution networks for cures, saved lives while gathering intelligence. Each person healed became potential ally. Each death prevented created unpayable debt. Looking back, I learned reputation builds through action. By winter's end, I possessed comprehensive understanding of political machinery, of psychological manipulation, of medical innovation born from necessity. My enemies operated with stolen knowledge. I advanced through original thinking. They feared discovery. I prepared for revelation. I didn't know it then, but the hunter was becoming the apex predator. The shadow called Ying emerged fully formed, respected strategist, mysterious healer, warrior philosopher. My true identity buried beneath layers of carefully constructed persona. Only 3 people knew what became of Wei Zhi. Looking back, they should have feared that knowledge more than death itself. I infiltrated the capital through merchant caravans, Ying the strategist, the shadow who spoke 5 languages, who understood battlefield medicine and economic systems. My reputation preceded me. Officials requested private consultations. Military advisors sought tactical insights. I moved invisible among the powerful. Looking back, I had become exactly what they feared. Lord Zi's condition deteriorated mysteriously. His physicians puzzled over contradictory symptoms. I arranged private recommendations through intermediaries. Try these compounds for paralysis. Formulas that intensified specific nerve responses. Medications that amplified anxiety. Each treatment worsened his suffering systematically. I didn't know it then, but the governor was becoming my laboratory. The first public failure came beautifully. Xi's grand military review. His paralysis struck precisely when imperial inspectors arrived. Tremors escalated, speech slurred, the mighty governor reduced to stammering invalid. My compounds, timed perfectly. His weakness displayed before power. Looking back, humiliation tastes sweeter than wine. Anonymous documents appeared throughout bureaucracy. Coded messages about weaponized plague. Financial irregularities in military spending. Each accusation mathematically provable. Each leak strategically placed for maximum chaos. Imperial investigators followed breadcrumbs I scattered. I didn't know it then, but paranoia spreads faster than disease. Elder Guo's practice crumbled more subtly. Young physicians challenged his methods publicly. Your surgical technique causes unnecessary scarring. This herbal combination creates dangerous interactions. Criticisms I prepared, questions I planted. His arrogance prevented accepting correction. Looking back, pride always precedes downfall. The gambling houses received Guo's name frequently. Debts mounting exponentially. My associates ensured his credit ran dry. His favorite gaming establishment suddenly demanded immediate payment. Desperate men make predictable choices. I arranged loans through criminal networks, interest rates designed to crush. I didn't know it then, but greed was becoming noose. Leon's world fractured delicately. I placed observers near her residence, documented her husband's infidelities, his drinking, his gambling, his business failures. Information distributed through gossip networks, truth whispered by servants, shame accumulating gradually. Looking back, watching her realize her choices was almost sufficient revenge. Her mathematical abilities faltered under stress. Investment. Schemes failed spectacularly. Calculations proved incorrect, predictions missed entirely. Public embarrassment mounted. The genius who testified so confidently now made elementary errors. I didn't know it then, but confidence breaks easier than bones. The second military disaster arrived perfectly timed. Xi's private army discovered. Evidence planted through careful documentation. Imperial seals forged impossibly well. His ambitious son implicated deeply. The conspiracy web I wove caught everyone. Looking back, artistry requires patience. Merchant deaths continued following Guo's copied techniques. Families demanded explanations. Why simple treatments killed. Why complex surgeries failed. Each death attributed correctly to stolen knowledge improperly applied. His reputation hemorrhaged. I didn't know it then, but truth weaponized becomes unstoppable. I engineered Guo's financial destruction methodically, sold him counterfeit medical supplies, arranged expensive purchases of rare herbs that proved worthless, investment opportunities that vanished overnight. Each transaction designed to drain resources. Looking back, watching wealth evaporate creates exquisite suffering. Z's paranoia peaked magnificently. Every shadow threatened assassination, every meal could be poisoned. My psychological warfare reached crescendo. Anonymous warnings arrived daily, some predicting accurate events, others purely fictional. Reality and terror blended seamlessly. I didn't know it then, but sanity fragments gradually. The plague weapon. Evidence surfaced carefully. Documents suggesting government conspiracy. Testing on civilian populations. C's signature on incriminating papers. My meticulous forgeries impossible to disprove. Imperial court demanded explanations. Looking back, justice delayed becomes justice amplified. Leon discovered her husband's debts, his planned abandonment, his secret correspondence with merchants, each revelation orchestrated for maximum impact. She confronted mathematical certainty of her choices' consequences. Her calculations had led to ruin. I didn't know it then, but watching understanding dawn was perfect symmetry. 3 masterful doctors challenged Guo simultaneously, students I'd trained secretly, questions designed to expose fundamental flaws, techniques proven superior publicly. His methods labeled antiquated, dangerous. His protests seemed desperate. Looking back, dismantling expertise requires surgical precision. The paralysis compounds reached optimal effectiveness. C's episodes became unpredictable, striking during critical negotiations, speeches transforming into incomprehensible babbling. His political power evaporated, alliances shifted. Ambitious subordinates sensed vulnerability. I didn't know it then, but vultures circle weakness. Financial investigations traced elaborate corruption. Each transaction documented meticulously. Bank records altered subtly, numbers adding incorrectly. Auditors discovered massive embezzlement. C's elaborate system for siphoning state resources. Looking back, greed leaves trails. Guo's creditors arrived in force. Loans called simultaneously. Properties seized immediately. Gambling debts revealed publicly. His medical practice sold for fraction of value. Social standing collapsed overnight. Former students avoided association. Looking back, reputation dissolves faster than sugar. I arranged final humiliations carefully. C forced to recant military strategies in public. Guo's textbooks recalled for containing dangerous errors. Leon's family fortune exposed as built on fraud. Each revelation timed for maximum psychological impact. I didn't know it then, but satisfaction compounds. The Empire's greatest strategists requested my counsel. My mysterious insights proved invaluable. Predictions accurate, solutions elegant, influence expanded exponentially, power built through merit rather than politics. Looking back, the shadow became substance. 3 lives unraveled systematically. 3 conspirators watching foundations crumble. 3 minds realizing their perfect crime contained fatal flaws. None suspected the physician they destroyed had orchestrated everything. I didn't know it then, but invisible revenge proves most devastating. My network reported constantly. Every setback documented. Every failure celebrated privately. The mathematics of destruction approaching completion. Victory measured not in triumph, but in watching enemies self-destruct. Looking back, the best revenge requires patience. The great machine I built hummed efficiently. Agents placed strategically. Information flowing precisely. Each piece targeting specific weaknesses. Medical knowledge weaponized against medical. Knowledge thieves. Philosophy of healing inverted perfectly. I didn't know it then, but becoming what they feared completed transformation. 3 perfect storms converged simultaneously. I orchestrated each detail meticulously. The timing couldn't be coincidence. Imperial investigators descended like hawks. My planted evidence created ironclad cases. Their worlds collapsed in synchronized devastation. Looking back, even I admired the symmetry. Lord Z's paralysis struck during Imperial audience. His dramatic collapse witnessed by the entire court. Words slurred. Hands trembled violently. The mighty governor reduced to pathetic spectacle. Ceremonial robes soaked with humiliating sweat. I didn't know it then, but physical weakness becomes political death sentence. His private army discovered, the same day. Forge masters found bearing his secret seal. Weapon stockpiles marked with coded numbers. Financial records detailing illegal military expansion. Each piece of evidence mathematically linking to his personal involvement. Looking back, preparation for treason charges doesn't remain hidden long. The weaponized plague documents surfaced strategically. My forgeries proved masterful. Z's signature on research proposals. Correspondence detailing civilian testing. Orders to increase infection vectors. Every document technically perfect. Every timeline precisely aligned. I didn't know it then, but truth becomes irrelevant when documentation appears genuine. Elder. Go faced public medical board inquiry simultaneously. 3 separate cases of malpractice. Patients died directly from his modified treatments. My stolen techniques applied incorrectly. Results catastrophic. Witnesses presented irrefutable testimony. Looking back, watching professional pride crumble was artistic. His gambling debts exploded overnight. Every creditor demanded immediate payment. Properties seized within hours. Medical practice dissolved. Patients abandoned en masse. Former colleagues distanced immediately. His fall from respected physician to desperate debtor occurred in single day. I didn't know it then, but financial ruin strips dignity completely. The sacred text's investigation proved devastating. Foreign agents purchasing stolen medical knowledge traced directly to him. Imperial investigators uncovered elaborate smuggling network. Each transaction documented precisely. Every meeting photographed by my agents. Looking back, treason charges seal fate permanently. Leon's mathematical empire imploded mathematically. Investment schemes collapsed. Her family's bankruptcy exposed publicly. Merchant partners revealed massive fraud. She'd calculated everything except human betrayal. Her husband fled with family wealth, leaving her destitute. I didn't know it then, but watching perfect calculations fail proved perfect irony. Her role in framing wager resurfaced suddenly. Old trial documents re-examined. Inconsistencies in testimony highlighted. Connections between 3 conspirators revealed. Each piece fitting together inevitably. Population opinion shifted dramatically. Looking back, public shame spreads like wildfire. 3 separate imperial summons arrived the same morning. C. Farai, treason. Guo for endangering state security. Lian as key witness requiring examination. The convergence planned perfectly. My agents ensured no coordination possible. each isolated completely. I didn't know it then, but separation prevents final conspiracies. G. Accused Guo immediately. Desperate self-preservation. He forced me to participate, threatened my family, controlled everything. The mighty governor reduced to pointing fingers, his paranoia becoming evidence of guilt. Looking back, desperation reveals true character. Guo retaliated viciously. Documents proving Z initiated plague weapons project, financial records showing bribes received. Detailed confession about wages framing, each revelation more damning than previous. I didn't know it then, but watching co-conspirators destroy each other surpasses vengeance. Leon's summons arrived for supposed witness protection. Instead, she faced accusations of orchestrated conspiracy. Marriage contracts with Z's son used as proof of collusion. Her mathematical certainty hadn't calculated this outcome. Looking back, intelligence without wisdom creates fatal blind spots. Imperial courts descended into chaos. 3 major corruption cases simultaneously, each implicating provincial elite. Weiju's name emerged in all proceedings. The physician they destroyed now represented justice itself, his persecution triggering comprehensive investigation. I didn't know it then, but martyrdom creates unstoppable momentum. The plague cure appeared mysteriously. Anonymous documents distributed widely. My original research restored. Methods that would have saved thousands had they not stolen and weaponized it. Public outrage focused sharply. 3 criminals identified universally. Looking back, redemption arrives through revelation. Zai's condition worsened noticeably, stress accelerating deterioration, his testimony incoherent, paralysis spreading visibly. Physicians pronounced condition terminal. His elaborate health performance finally exposed as weakness exploitation. I didn't know it then, but karma manifests physically. Guo's reputation beyond salvage. Professional credentials revoked nationally. Medical texts banned for containing dangerous errors. His innovative techniques revealed as stolen plagiarism. Former students demanded refunds. Universities erased his contributions. Looking back, legacy destruction proves more painful than physical punishment. Leon watched helplessly as both men she enabled faced execution. Her mathematical mind calculated their sentences precisely. Death for Z. Life imprisonment for Guo. Her own future uncertain. Betraying Wager hadn't saved her family. Looking back, she finally understood mathematics of morality. 3 lives destroyed by weight of evidence, each attempting to save themselves, each condemning others further. The truth emerged piece by piece. Wager represented innocence. They represented corruption. I didn't know it then, but redemption arrives through others' confession. Imperial, pardon issued posthumously. Wager honored as martyred physician. Streets named after him. Medical schools establishing scholarships. The persecution now recognized as deliberate suppression of genius. Looking back, vindication tastes sweeter than expected. I observed everything through network of agents, documented every moment, recorded every desperate plea. 3 enemies facing consequences systematically. Their perfect crime unraveling thread by thread. I didn't know it then, but watching from shadows proves more satisfying than direct confrontation. The convergence reached inevitable conclusion. 3 conspirators facing different fates, deteriorating towards death. Guo stripped of everything valuable, Leon reduced to powerless observer. Each punishment perfectly matched their crime. Looking back, justice delivered geometrically. Provincial officials started investigations into corruption networks. My engineered collapse triggering systemic examination. Decades of abuse discovered. The 3 merely exemplified broader sickness. I didn't know it then, but seeds planted create forests of change. My influence continued expanding invisibly. Imperial advisors requesting strategic counsel. Medical innovations attributed to anonymous genius. The shadow called Ying gaining legendary status. Power built through merit while former enemies faced ruination. Looking back, transformation completed perfectly. 3 perfect betrayers experienced 3 perfect punishments. their calculated destruction of Wager becoming instrument of their doom. Mathematics of revenge resolved with satisfaction. I didn't know it then, but watching enemies destroy themselves creates more complete catharsis than any direct action could provide. The imperial courtroom buzzed with anticipation. 3. Defendants, 1 conspiracy, countless lives destroyed. The prosecutor read charges methodically: treason, conspiracy, murder through biological warfare. Each word echoed through marble halls. I watched from Special Observer Alcove, anonymous strategist who provided crucial evidence. Looking back, witnessing their downfall publicly exceeded all expectations. Lord Z entered first, guards supporting his weakened frame. Paralysis genuine now. No performance remaining. The proud warrior reduced to shuffling patient, his uniform replaced with prisoner robes, eyes darting fearfully between officials. I didn't know it then, but terror consumes pretense completely. You poisoned yourself, the prosecutor accused. Created justification for research funding. Maintained control through feigned weakness. C's mouth opened soundlessly. Tried denying everything, words slurred incomprehensibly. The irony crystallized beautifully. He'd faked illness to gain sympathy. Now genuine sickness prevented his defense. Looking back, perfect justice requires no interference. Elder Guo entered. Next, once respected physician, now disgraced criminal, his scholarly robes torn, reputation shredded beyond recognition. The man who condemned his student now faced identical accusations: medical knowledge theft, prohibited research, conspiracy against state health. I didn't know it then, but mirrors reflect perfectly. You stole from Wager, evidence proved conclusively. Modified his techniques incorrectly, caused countless deaths. His protests grew desperate. The boy knew nothing. I taught him everything. Contradicting himself repeatedly, each lie exposing another. Looking back, arrogance blinds in crucial moments. Leon appeared last, beautiful as ever, terror replacing calculation, her mathematical certainty crumbling under scrutiny. Marriage papers examined publicly. Correspondence with Z's son revealing elaborate planning. Her testimony against Wager dissected word by word. I didn't know it then, but truth dissected. Lies precisely. You knew the accusations were false, investigators pressed, performed calculations to convince others. She maintained composure initially. Then evidence accumulated. Letters proving premeditation. Financial records showing bribes received. Her careful facade shattering. Looking back, even master mathematicians miscalculate human equations. The prosecutor revealed plague weapon documents. Each signature analyzed. Each instruction matched to known handwriting. The conspiracy timeline detailed perfectly. 3 conspirators caught in web of evidence, their own words condemning them. I didn't know it then, but revenge requires patience. I broke first, started naming accomplices, military officers, government clerks, merchant collaborators, desperate bargaining for reduced sentence. His military strategy reduced to whimpering pleas, fellow governor watching in horror. Looking back, betrayed betrayers fear isolation most. You poisoned civilians intentionally, evidence proved irrefutably. Tested biological weapons, mass murder for political gain. His paralysis intensified visibly, terror triggering involuntary tremors. The mighty strategist reduced to trembling invalid. Ultimate irony complete. I didn't know it then, but psychological warfare works both ways. Guo attempted scholarly defense, quoted medical ethics, referenced precedent, challenged evidence authenticity. Each argument systematically demolished. Physicians testified about stolen techniques. Former students detailed his deceptions. Looking back, expertise without integrity becomes worthless. He finally revealed full conspiracy. Wager discovered our plans. His knowledge threatened everything. We needed him eliminated professionally. The admission stunned courtroom. 3 brilliant minds united in eliminating greater genius. Justice of destruction revealed mathematically. I didn't know it then, but truth emerges eventually. Leon maintained calculated silence longest, observed proceedings analytically, calculated, optimal responses. Then investigators presented final evidence. Her father's secret dealings. Family bankruptcy predating betrothal. Marriage negotiations transcripts. Everything orchestrated financially. I didn't know it then, but greed outweighs love consistently. You betrayed innocent man for family survival, facts established brutally. Calculated suffering against salvation, she answered finally, voice barely audible. Yes. Simple admission destroying carefully constructed persona. Looking back, acknowledgement precedes true punishment. The sentence is delivered precisely. See condemned to death. Paralysis rendering execution merciful. Guo receiving life imprisonment. Medical privileges permanently revoked. Leon sentenced to exile. Provincial position impossible now. Each punishment fitting crime perfectly. I didn't know it then, but justice, calibrated individually. Imperial decrees followed immediately. Wei Ji pardoned posthumously. Declared hero of medicine. Province renamed honorarily. Medical scholarship established bearing his name. The persecuted becoming immortal. Looking back, reputation survives bodies. I received private summons afterward. Emperor requesting Ying's services officially. Imperial physician position offered. Military strategies consultant. Highest honors available. The shadow offered sunlight. Perfect conclusion approaching. I didn't know it. Then but true choice creates character. I declined politely through intermediary. The shadow serves better from darkness. Wei Ji's legacy needs no further glory. Explanation accepted graciously. My legend preserved. Influence maintained privately. No physical appearance required. Looking back, power without visibility provides ultimate freedom. I visited empty tomb later. Plain stone marked Wei Ji's name. Imperial pardon scroll placed carefully. Flowers from anonymous admirers gathered naturally. Justice completed perfectly. Vengeance satisfied absolutely. Looking back, monuments need no bodies. The provincial hospital established in Wei Ji's honor. Medical students studying his restored techniques. Innovations attributed correctly. Knowledge distributed freely. Everything he possessed eventually saving thousands. 3 destroyers eliminated. 1 healer immortalized. I didn't know it then, but legacy exceeds lifetime infinitely. I continue practicing medicine anonymously, curing plagues, training brilliant minds, operating from shadows. The shadow physician serving quietly. Reputation building naturally through results. Power wielded invisibly through influence. Looking back, transformation completed successfully. 3 perfect betrayers faced 3 perfect dooms, each destroyed by means they chose. Z paralyzed permanently. Guo stripped of medical authority. Leon exiled mathematically alone. Justice measured precisely. Revenge completed satisfactorily. I didn't know it then, but satisfaction fades into purpose. The empire improved gradually. Systemic corruption exposed. Better physicians trained properly. Research conducted ethically. Wei Ji's death catalyzing transformation. His persecution inspiring reform. Looking back, martyrdom creates movements. I carry no bitterness anymore. Only memories of calculated justice. 3 minds that destroyed 1 genius. Now destroyed themselves through intricate conspiracy. Mathematics of morality resolved absolutely. I didn't know it then, but vengeance exhausts eventually. The final irony persists beautifully. They sought to bury Wei Ji completely. Found themselves buried by his resurgence. Attempted destroying knowledge. Knowledge destroyed them instead. Tried erasing genius. Created legend they couldn't eliminate. Looking back, their greatest fear manifested perfectly. I remained shadow physician, healing quietly, observing silently, power wielded through merit alone. Justice served completely. Transformation from victim to victor absolute. Wei Ji died. Ying lives. The difference meaningful only to one person. I didn't know it then, but becoming who they feared provides ultimate satisfaction. 3 perfect betrayers learned finally. You cannot destroy genius without consequences, cannot bury truth without resurrection, cannot betray healer without facing plague of conscience, mathematics of revenge solved entirely, balance restored absolutely. Looking back, justice arrived precisely on time.